You know, when I was growing up, and my parents, I had one parent who was raised a Jehovah's Witness. Her parents were raised Jehovah's Witnesses. My great-grandfather, I believe, was a Jehovah's Witness from an extremely young age. He's 98 now, so there's a long line. So I was the first grandchild of the fourth generation, and so I was raised in it from birth to age 13. And the nice thing about my upbringing is that I got exposed to two different family dynamics. My mother and father ran off and eloped at age 17. My father is from a Catholic family and my mother was from a Jehovah's Witness family. So I had one parent who didn't believe anything and had never been in it, and then one who was raised in it but was inactive and had never been baptized herself. So basically what happened was I was allowed to be indoctrinated with the Jehovah's Witness teachings from birth. My grandparents took me to meetings from before I could walk, and they continued to do so, and I soaked it up like a sponge. And my great aunt would babysit me when I was a kid, and she would teach me all of those stories from the My Book of Bible Stories, and would, quiz me on different doctrine, like how many people were going to heaven and why I wasn't going to be one of them. And so the nice thing about that is I had the ability to temper that with my Catholic grandma having me the other half of the time, and not being exposed to some degree of a normal childhood, but all of the indoctrination from the witnesses played on my mind, and it was horrible. I grew up from the time I was 5 and could really understand what Armageddon was supposed to be, till, I left when I was 13, but I was still having nightmares about Armageddon until right around the time that I became an adult at age 18. The nightmares finally stopped. So at least until age 14, I think, right around there, I thought that half my family was going to be destroyed. Half my family. That's a standard teaching, that if you aren't a witness and you don't believe what they believe, you're going to be destroyed. And, even if you're a good person, even if you live your life in a kind way and try to do good things for other people, doesn't matter. That's especially true if you reject the doctrine. So people like me and all the other witnesses that have spoken out or that have been labeled apostates are especially damned to be destroyed into oblivion. So it's a very nice thought. So I had nightmares about this while I was a child, that half my family would be destroyed at Armageddon, and if I was lucky, I would make it. I say if I was lucky because even though I was trying to be the best Jehovah's Witness kid that I could be, I was always afraid that I wasn't going to be worthy and that I was going to be destroyed. And I think that's one of the most pervasive teachings that the witness propaganda puts in people and makes them believe. That's one of the most pervasive teachings that I can remember, is that I was taught from day one that I can never be good enough. Salvation is never assured, and there's always a chance that I could still be destroyed at the end, so I, better shape up and do everything absolutely perfectly. Because you could still die. You don't know. So, well, that was a start. I'll save the rest for later, as far as, how I grew up and those teachings. But before I go, I really want to share some information at the end of this video for anybody who's interested or is searching for help and is wanting to figure out a way to get out if you've already decided that you need to leave but you don't know how. I have some websites and some Facebook groups and some books that are very helpful. Lots of people have used these to get out. I did not discover any of these books until I was at least 24, but some of the old fears that were still buried in my subconscious mind responded to them, and I feel so much better now. I finally put all the fears to rest, that even the thought that they could possibly be right is gone. And it's the most freeing, amazing feeling ever to have that weight lifted off your shoulders. It's like, what if they're right and I die anyway? No, it's gone, at least for me, and I want that to be possible for other people. And the other thing is that there is an amazing, amazing network of people on the internet who are there to lend an ear and give advice on what worked for them getting out, and places to go, and suggestions on what to do next, because that's one of the hardest things when you get out. I've heard the story over and over and over, and my story was a little different because it was a smaller scale, and I was 13 and I was still living with my family, so it wasn't like I was shoved out on the street. But I've heard that. I've heard the stories over and over. It's like, none of my family will talk to me. I have no idea what to do. I was a pioneer for such and such years, and now where do I go? I don't have any job skills. I don't know what to believe anymore. I don't know if I believe in God anymore, or what I'm supposed to do. And I'm still afraid that I might die. Or I'm not, but I'm just so angry. Anyway, I could go on and on forever about that. But at the end of this video, there will be some helpful websites, some forums, and whatnot, places to go. But I do want to share 3 very important books that have helped me a lot, and I recommend them to others all the time. The first one is my favorite, which is Crisis of Conscience. This was written by former governing body member Raymond Franz, and he was disfellowshipped in 1980, and he was on the governing body for many years. So he had the unique experience of being on the inside and explaining how the governing body made decisions, changed doctrine, and the book goes from start to finish about how the organization was formed, and it tells his personal story too, about how he was eventually disfellowshipped for speaking up against things that he felt were unjust, and he was ostracized. And it has given a lot of inspiration to a lot of people, and myself included. Many people are very grateful for this book and the other book that he wrote, In Search of Christian Freedom. And we miss him terribly. He passed away last year, and he left this legacy, and we still recommend it highly to tons and tons of people. The second book is another one that I really love. This is Captives of a Concept by Don Cameron. There are 2 things that I love about this book. 1, it is extremely thorough, and 2, it's 147 pages. It is a short, quick read, but in 147 pages, Don Cameron explains Jehovah's Witness doctrine probably better than I've ever heard it explained before, and really helps to put your mind at rest, and it helps erase any doubts about the origins of the doctrine, and it's an amazing book. Check it out anyway. The third is Combating Cult Mind Control. This book was extremely helpful for learning the in-depth methods of how high control groups indoctrinate their members by injecting fear and propaganda and information control and a lot of other things. And I'll probably go into this book more in depth later, and some of the other ones. But these are 3 of the books that I recommend to a lot of people that are just coming out. And thank you very much for watching this video, and I hope to make more soon. And I hope that something in the message that I gave today resonates with you. And if you need help and you're not sure where to go, PM me. There are a million places that that you can find help. Thank you.